There's recently been a bit of hoo-ha on the internet about driver updates from AMD. Hardware Unboxed, the channel I often watch, had done a video where they basically saw that the 9070 XT had seen big improvements in performance just because of driver updates effectively. And other channels have done some testing, some have not quite found the same stuff, but it seems as though certain games, at least, are improving with the latest AMD drivers. So obviously the only game that really matters to anybody, especially if you've watched this channel before, is Star Citizen. And so I've gone back in and I've retested the 5070 Ti and the 9070 XT, and we're gonna basically look and see, have things improved from when they were released into their latest drivers. And we also need to factor in price into this, and things have slightly changed there, but let's look at the data. First of all, this is what I saw back in 4.1, back in April. You can see that we're at 4K, and we have to really be at 4K here so that we're actually loading the GPU and not just the CPU. There's a fairly decent chunk of difference between the 9070 XT and the 5070 Ti. And so in general, the recommendation was that, well, depending on the price, the 5070 Ti actually makes quite a lot of sense for Star Citizen itself. It seems as though, and this has always kind of been the case, that for Star Citizen, NVIDIA has a bit of an advantage. But has this changed at all? First of all, for kind of a benchmark, I just tested the 5080 just to see. So you can see the driver numbers on the left there, and you can see that really on the NVIDIA side, there's not been any real change in performance. Well, there's zero. There's zero change in performance here with 4.2 with these drivers. They're identical, so no change. And then just to make sure, the 5070 Ti is exactly the same. No discernible change whatsoever. And so has AMD's fine wine stuff, have they done it again? Well, in Star Citizen, no. There's no difference really in performance again. And so it is game dependent, this. And so the testing that you've probably seen on the internet recently, certain games there's been big changes, certain games no changes, and Star Citizen there's nothing. And I guess it's possible that the games where there have been changes, maybe AMD is working with the developers to improve things. Maybe there's been things that they've been working on. And I mean, Star Citizen just isn't at that stage in any way where either company would be saying, let's really optimize things, let's change things in the drivers for this game. That's just not where Star Citizen is at, and that's many, many years away. And so the reality, as you compare them both together, is that still in 4.2, yeah, if you were looking at these cards, you'd really be looking at the prices. And I have had a quick look back at the prices, and you can see that for the 9070 XT, which in theory is the cheaper of the graphics cards, it's still in the UK at least, and this is just the UK, you need to check where you live. It's still fairly far above where it was when it first came out. I bought mine for less than £600, and we're still over £600. There were some Prime deal days, I think, that dropped it under the £600 mark, but in general, if you now just go and search, we're still at the £630 mark really for these cards. And the 5070 Ti is not much more expensive, and so yeah, those ones there are £680. You'd have to say that for Star Citizen itself, still the 5070 Ti looks like a better option because it performs better. Again, the things we've talked about in the past, DLSS is better, and also still we're looking at ray tracing coming in the future, will probably be better on this card. And so in the UK, even with new drivers, still it looks as though NVIDIA has the edge in this battle in particular. But a quick one here today. I thought a few people had asked what's going on, is there any change in Star Citizen? And unfortunately at this stage the drivers haven't done anything for performance in SC itself.